All righty. Hello, hello. It is April the 17th, Thursday, 1300. This is week two, two of two. Get that out of the way so they can anyway, there's a format we use. Anyway, with you all, have you all started making any calls yet? I'm curious.
Just a couple so far.
So far, what type of, are
Yeah,
you getting voicemail? Are you what's going on?
it was all voicemails. I got the vacant leads. I haven't tried the probate ones that you sent me yet.
Okay, I didn't hear the first part. You got the what leads? No, I heard about the probate.
The vacant owners and like the tired landlords, I think is what it is.
Right. Okay. All right. Keep in mind that the tired landlords, they are probably one of the most frequently called in people. All right. Are you leaving messages?
Yes, I did leave voicemails.
Okay. All right. Megan, what about yourself?
So I have started. I had some questions for you. My goal last week, I think, was to make 50 calls. After I looked at my list and I skip traced everything, I only had 32 on my list. I have pre-foreclosures and probate. So my struggle has been KV Core. I have been back and forth with the team all week, just trying to get number one, the campaigns loaded. I thought they were loaded last week. They weren't. They finally got them all loaded 2 days ago, but then all my leads didn't populate. So now I'm back and forth trying to make sure. So I've been in an organizational nightmare. But besides that, I went through and I started going through the other day and said, all right, well, I'm just going to start making some calls. All I've gotten is voicemails. So my question to you, I remember at one point you guys said that there was a script to leave for a voicemail, but I didn't hear anything about that. So maybe you
Okay.
guys can talk about that today.
Who were what type of leads were you calling?
So I have pre-foreclosures and probates. I haven't done any probates yet, just pre-foreclosures.
Okay. When it comes to pre-foreclosures, I think you all have heard me probably say this, and you'll hear me say it probably over and over again as we go through time. Pre-foreclosure. You understand that obviously they're behind. Lis pendens has probably been filed. That's how we got the notice. Okay. Uh, Usually the last thing that people let go is their home. All right. So they're behind on their credit cards. They're probably behind on their car payment, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever loans they have, they're probably behind on. So their phone is getting blown up. Okay. So when it comes to pre-foreclosures, you're probably going to get a voicemail. Rarely will somebody pick up. Okay. So the message I want you all to leave, all right, is hi, my name's Todd Schneider. I'm a local real estate agent. I got your phone number, or I'm sorry, I got your name and your address. I can't even think. I've been on so many calls today. I was reaching out to you regarding your property that I believe you own at 123 Main Street. I'm not trying to collect anything. I would just like to have a conversation with you about that property. I always say there, I'm not trying to collect anything. Okay. And there, because people are calling them to try to collect. Okay.
Of course.
The collections are blowing up. Okay.
Yeah.
And, if you would give me a call back at your convenience, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And then okay, so let's look at the pipe. I call it the pipeline, they call it a campaign, whatever the terminology is. Okay. Um, Day zero is the day you call. That's day zero. Okay. Day one in the pipeline is the next day, obviously. So whenever you call, okay, make that first call, then you will move, leave a voicemail if you don't talk to somebody, okay? And you probably won't on pre-foreclosure. Then move it into the next pipeline, the active pipeline. You leave your voicemail, very nice, cordial voicemail, and then you move it into the active pipeline. You're going to get a task the very next day. I think it's day one, day three, day 5, and then day 8, the system takes over. You're going to have a task in those other 3, day 1, 3, and 5. Okay. And that task is going to pop up in KB Core. There's going to be a lot of them. Okay. Depending on how many you call. Okay.
Sure.
So whenever you make they sit there dormant until you make the call, then you move them. Okay. So let's say you call 15 today. All right. The next day, you're going to get 15 tasks. Either call or text them again. And I recommend strongly, a lot of folks, last night's call, they use dialers. I would recommend using your cell phone. Okay. I just would. All right. Most people, especially when you start sending text. All right. Yes, you got your green. I don't know if you all use iPhones or not, but there's nothing more wonderful than getting blue when I get ready to send a text. Okay. So they know I'm real. And, because the green text come from the other phones, what is it, Samsungs or whatever it is.
Yeah, Androids, yeah.
Androids and KB Core and the pipeline I use, they're all green. Now, nothing more wonderful than getting a blue. Okay.
Yeah,
if you use iPhone. So anyway, so and send your text and a very cordial, hey, I left you. Okay, the next, let's say day 1, if you will, is a text. I don't remember. Usually I think it's a call, but if it's a text, hey, this is Todd. I left you a voicemail or 2. Okay. Couple of voicemails. I'd really love to have a conversation with you about your property that I think you own at 123 Main Street. Hey, drop me a line when you get a chance. Okay. Very nice, very cordial, this, that, and the other. And then, and then if it's another call or a text, and then at day 5, then day 8, the system is going to start sending texts. Okay. And somewhere down the line, I believe there is a task, I don't know, somewhere in the pipeline, maybe in the 30 to 40 day range, another task will pop up for a physical call.
Okay.
Okay. So, and somebody was beating me up last night about leads. Look, all right. I tried to get you at least 100 plus. By the time you scrub them down, all right, you're going to probably be left with about 50, 60, 70 that are not on the DNC list. Okay. Right. That's what's going to happen, honestly. All right. Now you have a choice of what you want to do with the DNCs. If you don't want to door knock or send a postcard or anything like that, that lead is gone. You're not going to do anything with it. Okay. I strongly recommend, though, that you do a little door knocking from time to time. Pull out 10 that are close together and just take a day. Go have some lunch, door knock a little bit, go back home, or whatever your schedule is for that day. All right. And I always carry these little postcards with me. I know I've got them in here somewhere. I've got these little postcards. You can get them on Amazon or whatever. And when I door knock and they don't answer because everybody's beating down their door, I've knocked on many doors. I know there's somebody. I heard the television and the volume down, but they don't answer the door. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody's trying to collect from them. Okay. That's a bill collector, probably. All right. Most don't door knock anymore. But still, they're afraid.
Yeah.
So in any event, I leave them. I just handwrite a few out, and make sure I mention their address, 123 Main Street. I don't write out everything. You know what I mean? Just want to have a conversation with you about your property. I might be able to help you in some way or something like that. In other words, you're not there to bother them. You're trying to help if you can.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I do. Okay. And sometimes you have a really good property in a good location, you can sell it quick.
Sure.
Then
I have another question for you. I was talking to my principal broker about foreclosures, and she suggested, I just wanted more information because I've never worked in foreclosures. So I'm like, what expertise am I bringing? Because I have all these scripts that say I have expertise, and I'm like, I don't really have that expertise. So I want to be prepared. Are we talking about the potential of a short sale with these
Yep.
properties? Okay.
Yep. You
Now,
can.
and she referred me to go to NAR, and she said they probably, where did I write it down? They have, certifications on there. I saw they have an SFR notification. Of course, it's going to cost like $300 for me to get it done. How necessary do you guys feel like that's to do, just from your experience?
There are, I don't think they call them ISAs, but within EXP, there are
Okay.
short sale experts. All right. And
Okay.
I just learned this last night from, oh, shoot. Oh my gosh, I forget the woman's name. Anyway, they're there.
Okay.
Give them a piece of the pie to work a short sale for you.
Okay.
Okay. Unless you just really want to get the certification and learn it and do it.
I want to figure it out as best I can, if that's a good way. So would I find them on Workplace?
Yes. Just go in.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you can reach out to your ASA or whatever your state has.
Okay.
Just ask them, hey, I know we have these people in the system.
Okay.
I want to reach out to them and see if they can help me with short sales.
Okay. Perfect.
And I'm willing to give up a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
20%, 15, whatever they need.
Money talks. Yeah.
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 And there's actually services out there. I know of folks out of Arizona that's all they do. And I think it depends on the complexity. I think they charge anywhere between $400 and $600 a file.
Okay.
And that's all they do all day long.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That's great info.
I forget the name of it, but I could reach out to Matt and he could tell me, but if that's of interest to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Probates are a little bit different. Somebody has passed, and anytime you're calling anybody for anything, especially probate, all right, especially pre-foreclosures, that sort of thing, you'll want to touch gently and make sure that you're speaking with the right person. Okay. I believe you own, or in probate, I believe you have an interest in 1, 2, 3, okay, have an interest in 1, 2, 3 Main State. I help folks that are going through these types of situations, and I have resources that might be about that you might need that I can assist you with, that type of thing. Okay. I think I put something on chat the other day about probate and how to handle it a little bit. Make sure you have those resources available to you, though. People who can remove the debris, that can help spruce up the house, handyman, that type of stuff.
Okay.
All right. And another thing I was talking about is that requires a little bit of work. Coordinating this requires a little bit of work, okay, on your part. All right. But, all right, while you're at the property, door knock on the neighbors. Tell them what you're doing, or do circle prospecting while you're there. I'm sure you don't want to sell your home anytime soon, but by chance, do you know anybody in the area? Because I have a buyer that's really looking hard into this area, and I don't know if the house that we're working on right now, 'cause it's probate, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to fit the bill because they need a little bit more space, whatever you come up with, okay? If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit, okay?
That's great.
Well,
That's a good one.
that's
That's
what
true.
my granddaddy used to say.
Yeah,
And he's been in
he's
sales
smart.
he was in sales his entire life.
That's perfect. That's so funny.
So, but anyway, just how to handle those things. Okay. Delicate.
Yeah. When I asked my principal broker about what she said she used to do probate, and what she would do is that she would actually door knock, but she would come with a package or like a little pamphlet or something, and she would have like the list of all the resources and then put herself on a postcard, whatever. And so that's what I wanted to actually get some of those resources in line before I started making those calls.
Yes, have that available and just have a conversation. But you want to make sure they're the person you need to talk to.
Okay.
Okay. They have the interest. And then and if there's other people that have an interest, then you can get that person to get them all together to have a conversation.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now, that's all fine and dandy, and you're going to make money doing that. I promise you, you will. Okay, I have. I made a lot of money over the years, mostly pre-foreclosures because I'm an REO guy, and that's what I do. All right, but some probates, absolutely. All right, but the best thing that you can do is you have a list of probates. All right, in your area, you got leads. All right, even if they're on the DNC list, you can go in and research the attorney, find the case file. You got a deceased person, probably. That's their name. All right. And there's a file. They're in probate. So there's a court case. Find that person's name and then look to see who the attorney is or the firm. All right. That's what you really want. Get past, you have to get past the gatekeeper. All right, there is a gatekeeper, I promise you. Okay,
Yeah.
you're not just going to get to the Mr. Attorney guy or gal, but that right there is super valuable. And you're going to find as you research them, just take a few and spot check them through your county records. All right, most of them are publicly available, and you're going to find that the same firms or attorney name is going to crop up over and over and over again because that's what they do. Okay. And if you don't know anybody, if you happen to know an attorney that doesn't do family law or probates or whatever, but you happen to know an attorney, ask them for a referral, ask them for an introduction to somebody. Okay. Let them help you crack that door open directly, get past that gatekeeper. All right. And I'm telling you right now, I got people who make a very good living off probate. That's all they do. That's no joke. My guy from Michigan, I think GC, I want to say he made $500,000 last year.
Wow.
Close to it. And that's strictly probate. Got another guy out in Texas, I think. Yeah, I think Texas he's from. And he makes at least $250,000. I think he does better than that. We don't really get into super, numbers or whatever, but because I don't tell him mine.
Right.
So anyway, but I can tell you a good probate attorney, if you give them value, and that's the key, you give them some value to help these people get taken care of what they need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
That attorney can feed you a lot of listings in the course of a year. And if you find 2 or 3 in your area, you're golden.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. I may be repeating myself. So anyway.
Very info. Thank you.
And let me get like Crystal in here real quick. Sorry. So, so you've made some calls, mostly voicemails. Crystal is coming in. Hey, Crystal, were you able to make some phone calls this week?
Good afternoon. Not yet, but that's on the agenda for tomorrow. I've just been running around with open houses, and I have actually 2 to go to today. So tomorrow is the day.
All right. Open houses. Help me out.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Why are you going? Is it your open house?
No, I have clients that I take to the open house.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll say a money-making activity. Okay. So you're taking clients. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I thought you were just going out and just seeing what was going on.
No, I have a few clients that are looking for stuff, and this is the part that, running around part that, you just run around for free until you get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Okay. Let's get into some role play. And Tabitha, I don't think we'll leave you alone. Are you going to be at a stopping point anywhere?
Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes from my house.
Okay, cool. All right, Megan, let's start with you. Well, now go ahead. Finish your conversation.
Well, I wanted to add something about the probate. So I have found with these attorneys to get past the gatekeepers that you're talking about, in my experience, it is best to go in person. Once you find out what law firm is handling that, go in person because they cannot ignore you. They can't put you on hold and hope that you're going to hang up. They can't just shuffle you around because you're there in person with the name.
Right. And that's good. All right. But at the same time, I would go with some material that you have created that you can give to the attorney to say, hey, look, I think I can add value to your situation. I'd like to have at least a short conversation with you. You run the risk they're not there, or they're out to lunch, or they're hiding in the back because the gatekeeper said, oh, well, they're not here right now. But what would you please give Mr. or Mrs. Smith this to review? I think I can add value, and I think I can help your clients. That type of thing.
Okay.
But you're right. They can't totally ignore you.
Yeah, I took we have a few in Mobile, and it was almost like a buyer's presentation, but tailored for probate for the attorney. And I was like, look, if you have any clients, that aren't working with somebody already, I would love to be able to help y'all. I have experience with this. I have a list of resources, and we can make this as smooth as possible. And I got several leads that way from that one attorney. It definitely made a difference going in person. Not saying that's always going to work, but
Well, think about it. Okay, we're calling individuals, all right, and that's cool. And you're going to make money with individuals. You'll get some deals, okay.
Yeah.
But the golden egg is to get to the attorney where they're going to feed you stuff.
Yeah.
All right, that's the golden egg. The more you can have, my friend in Michigan, I want to say he has 10 or 12 that feed him stuff. So like I said, he's making over $500,000 commissions a year just doing that. He's in Michigan. Okay, this isn't the East Coast, West Coast. Okay, it's Michigan. Okay.
Right.
So and you got to keep in mind most probates are well, I shouldn't say most. The vast majority of them are older folks who have passed away. So there's probably updating needed, some repairs needed, that type of thing. I've been through it with my grandparents, but a grandpa, he was a stickler about his house. His house was pristine when he passed. His house was golden. So anyway, all right. So let's, Megan, let's get into a little role play. Tabitha, can you talk while you drive?
I can. I can talk and chew gum at the same time.
You can?
I can. It's
all
a skill I have acquired.
All right, Megan, you got pre-foreclosures and probate.
Probate, yeah.
All right. What do you want to make a call about? With probate?
Let's do probate. I want to practice it.
All right, you call Tabitha. This looks more real. She's driving. I like this. Okay.
Yeah, she'll be the distracted, person who doesn't want to talk to me. That's great.
I'm a distracted, angry probate lead. Got
it. All right, I'll shut up.
Right.
You guys
go. Okay. Hi, Tabitha. This is Megan. I'm a realtor. I know you weren't expecting my call today. Do you have a minute, or would you rather me call back another time?
For what?
So I received your name recently. I have a sense from the information that I got that you are connected with a property at 123 Main Street. Is this correct?
Sort of. How did you get that information?
Well, there is some information that I have gotten through. Oh gosh, I don't have an answer to this. Anyone bail me out? What's the answer?
Okay, that's why I asked that, because it's the number one question I get. How did you get my number? Public records is what I always tell them. Right. Every single time. Works like a charm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, I got your name from public records. I I saw that there is possibly a deceased member of your family, and I am curious about who is handling the property.
That would be me.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that my condolences for what your family's going through. I am really sorry that you're going through this situation, and I'm calling in the chance that you need some assistance in dealing with the overwhelming amount of work it takes to handle these kinds of situations.
Okay. So what do you think that you can do to help?
Well, I'd like to provide you some resources. There are potentially a lot of things that you're going to have to do to handle the property. You're going to, depending on the state it's left in, you might need somebody to help you clear out some of the junk. You might have valuables to sell at an estate sale. There might be repairs. You might have to deal with attorneys trying to get the property in somebody's name. If you'd like to sell the property, that's something I can help you with.
Okay. And what do you get out of this?
Well, honestly, I'm somebody who wants to help someone who's struggling in the situation. If you decide to sell the property, I would love to be the realtor that you use. But in the meantime, I am here to provide resources for you to make this situation easier. And I don't get anything out of providing those resources to you.
Okay. Well, we definitely are going to sell the home. We're not going to keep it. We need to sell it, and it'll be split between me and my siblings, whatever the home is sold for.
Okay.
I don't know the process or anything, so I don't know how long it's going to take. I honestly don't know. I don't know that we'll need help cleaning it out or anything, but maybe selling it would be helpful. Would you be able to send me that list of resources so that I can see what else I might need help with? Because we've never done this.
Absolutely. That sounds great. If you can give me an email address, I'd be happy to send along what I have. But, I will also when I email you, I'll give you my contact information. If you and your siblings decide that you are interested in selling, I would love to sit down with all of you or somehow have a meeting with all of you at the same time so we can get everybody's needs and wants on the table and make sure everyone's on the same page. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you give me your email address? I will shoot you an email later today, and I will get you all those resources, and then we can move from there.
Okay, it's TabithaHuber.realtor@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tabitha.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, and I wish you luck, and I will be in touch with you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay. Something I want to say before I forget, because my ADD will kick in. Right there at the end, instead of just saying that you'll be in touch with me soon, set a day. Like, are you going to talk to your siblings? When do you guys think that you'll know something? You don't want to leave it open too soon because, especially for people like me, my brain immediately goes, okay, that's not important. I don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
And then it just files it away in some corner. But if you tell me, hey, I'm going to call you back on Tuesday, then I'm going to make a note. Hey, that lady said Tuesday, let me make sure I don't have anything. And it files it in this is important. I need this.
Perfect.
It just kind of changes the person you're talking to's mindset.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good feedback.
It gets easier. I promise.
Anybody have any thoughts? Oh, it's just Crystal.
I'm sorry, just on the one part where she asked, Tabitha asked Megan, what are you getting out of this? And Megan said nothing. So you don't want a commission? You're working for free?
No, I didn't say I didn't say nothing. I said if I sell the house, I would like you to use me as your realtor.
Okay,
I didn't say commission. I didn't want to throw that out there, but I would hope you use me as your realtor. But the rest of it, So I tried I tried to coach that in a way that it wasn't like, hey, you're going to make money off you. I want to provide you value.
It's a little choppy but that, like I said, it gets easier, and the more you go through the phone calls, the easier it gets.
Sure.
Because you start learning like how to pivot, and you learn the language, like the words that you use make a huge difference in my experience. Like things like our terminology, like a listing or a CMA, don't use stuff like that. People don't know what the hell that means, and they are just like immediately, I don't want to talk about this anymore because I don't even know what we're talking about. Right. So I have learned, and it depends on, you know, the home itself too, but like lower priced homes typically mean a lower income home. So your education is different. It's probably your first home. Situations like the probate, you're learning how to talk to somebody who has a need that needs to be filled, like selling the property. But like Todd says, it's so delicate, and how you word things and how you pivot when they, you know, say, hell no, I don't want to do this. All of those things make a huge difference to who you're calling. Just from experience. And the pre-foreclosures, it's kind of the same thing. It really depends on how you word it and how you sell yourself, how you can help them get out of this situation.
Okay.
Well, on the probate, I think I would have mentioned, and you did, all right, but I think I would have worded this, you Tabitha seemed open to having a conversation, but you're going to have people, like she just said, that want to do it themselves, or they want to, then just say, listen, hey, I'm not here to bust your chops, or, you know, however you want to word it. I'm not here to bug you to. But I would like to send you these resources that you can use. I'm not charging anything. There's no cost or anything like that. I'm just going to send it over, and you take a look at it. And if you see there's anything that I might be able to help you with, let me know. In other words, no cost. Here's the resources. You want to do it yourself? Okay, great. But I'm going to send you these resources for free, no cost. You take a look at it. If you find value, fine. And if you don't, you don't. Because, you know, people are going to decide to do whatever the hell they're going to want to do anyway. But if somebody at no cost, no charge, I'm not bugging you to death, you know, blah, blah, blah. They just give me some free resources. It's an email. You know, who cares? All right. Send the email. They may look at it and say, damn, they just sent it to me. They didn't even keep bugging me the hell out of me. You know, maybe calling them in a week or two and say, hey, I'm here. Or just email, you have their email them back and say, hey, I'm still here. If you need any assistance, let me know. You know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I know that works. That works with me, believe it or not. Somebody gives me something for free. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
and I prefer an email than a callback. Honestly, that's my preference too. I'd rather somebody be like, "Hey, I'm still here," and I decide if I want to talk to them or not. That's my preference. I know that. Then that's probably what I would default to.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Any other thoughts before we move on? All right, Crystal, you're up. Now you have what?
Pre-foreclosures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I was able to find a lot in your area. That doesn't happen very often, believe it or not. And I don't know if you were on the call previous. I think you came in a few minutes late. We were talking about pre-foreclosures, and keep this in your mind. The last thing that people let go is their mortgage. All right. The credit cards, maybe the car or the second car, whatever, you know, okay. That's the last thing they let. So these people have people calling them. These collectors are trying to get their money. All right. So the odds are you're not going to get that person on the first try, maybe second try. All right. So keep that in mind when you're making these calls. And have you got a little bit of a script that you've got for these guys and gals?
I think I'm just gonna go with my for sale by owner for the beginning part. Just, hi, my name is Crystal from EXP Realty. How you doing today? If a little banter, if not, then I'll go straight into it. Hi, I see that you own your house, XYZ, and you've gotten a little behind on your payments. I'm just calling to see if I can offer assistance, in any way I can, to try and help with your situation.
Okay. How are you going to help? Do you have a response for that?
So yeah, there are a few programs and there are a few options for you that you can take advantage of, to try and assist. But then that's when I'll go into questions like, let me ask, and then see, be receptive to whatever they say, if they mind the business or whatever, or if they're willing to have that conversation as to, do you have a way where you can, make up the payments or things like that, and then just let it flow into question after question depending on the answer.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to touch on that first. I know you did this last week. I understand that. I just want to make sure you got your mojo going. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. I want you to call Megan. And
Okay.
Megan's got a pre-foreclosure. She's behind on things. Okay. So be delicate. Just keep that in mind. You remember who you're talking to. Some people are blowing these people up.
Okay.
And if you don't get somebody, make sure you know what you're going to type of voicemail you're going to leave. And I was saying this earlier is, hey, this is Crystal. I'm calling blah 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 blah. I'm calling about a property that I think you own at 123 Main Street because you don't know if you've got the right person. And keep that in mind. I think you own, even probate. I think you have an interest in that type of thing. Is this the right person? Are you Jimmy Joe, Jim Bob, whatever. Okay.
Have you found that leaving voicemails are easier or faster than text messages? Because okay, so if I call somebody, then I don't typically leave a voice message. I will send a text.
Well, is your area more geared toward text messages than voicemails?
Well, I just go by me because I know I don't listen to my voicemail, so
I, I have it
so
on
I
my
just
phone.
assume,
I
people know.
tap the button and it gives me a readout and I read what they're
Me
sending.
too.
That's what
Me too.
Right. Now if I have that, then I'll watch it, but as far as listen to the voicemail, no. But if you text me what you want, then I can decide if I'm going to respond back or
okay. All right. I do recommend direct dial at least a couple of times in throughout this because you're going to touch them in the first 7 days. You're going to touch them 4 times.
not. Okay.
Okay. I call it day zero. Day zero is when you make your first call, leave your voicemail. Day
Okay.
one, I don't remember. It's probably another call. Day three is a text. Day five, I think, is another call. And then day eight, the system takes over. Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to touch them 4 times in 7 days. Okay. Somehow, some way. Now, you can change that up. If you feel like a text message will get you more results, then you can, change one of them out to a text message. But I'd still recommend an actual direct dial call because it's a real person and you're calling about 123 Main Street. Just want to have a conversation if that's possible. I'm not collecting anything, just so you know. I'm just reaching out because you wound up on one of my lists and it looks like you might have fallen a little bit behind on your payments. And I wanted to see if there's any way I can help you in some capacity. Something like that, gentle. And if they read it, it's going to be gentle on their phone.
Right. Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they got everybody in the living, breathing word calling them, okay, trying to collect money. Guarantee it. All right,
Okay.
I'll shut up. You call Megan.
Okay. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Crystal. I'm calling from EXP Realty. How you doing today?
Oh, hi, Crystal. Another one of you guys.
I know you're probably getting bombarded with calls from people like me. I'm so sorry. Are you the owner of XYZ house?
Yeah, my husband and I own that house.
Okay. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm calling only because I know, like you said, you've been getting calls from people like me. But I'm just calling to see if I can help in any way possible. I see that you did fall a little behind on your payments.
Okay, well, how are you going to help me? Are you going to make my payments for me?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do that. But what I can do is I can, tell you about different programs that are available to you, to basically help you, get out of this situation.
So, are these programs free, or am I going to have to pay something to participate?
No, these programs are free.
Okay, so how are you going to get this information?
Okay, so if you want, I can send you the information and you can definitely take a look at it and see if it's anything that you would be interested in. And then we can be in touch, I'll give you a call back to see, once you've looked it over to see if you're interested in any of them.
Okay, am I going to, when am I going to get kicked out of my house? You know, can you tell me information about that?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said, when am I going to get kicked out of my house? Is someone going to kick me out of my house soon? Do I have to sell it?
So I'm not sure. Once it's in the pre-foreclosure process, I'm not sure how long, it depends on your situation, depends on your bank. But what we can do is we can try and stop that before it even happens. And the sooner I can get you the information, the sooner we can try to make that happen.
Oh, I like the sound of that. So, okay, so yeah, go ahead and send me some information, and I'll share it with my husband. We'll see if it's something we want to do.
Okay, I definitely will. Okay, and I will definitely be in touch, Megan, and I'm gonna try and help you through this.
Okay, thanks. I
Okay,
appreciate that.
all right. So how'd I do?
Now, I like it. Um, the one word I don't use, even though we all know what the situation is, I do not use the word pre-foreclosure. I don't mention that word, the situation that you're in, that type of thing. I just don't say that word.
Okay, all
It
right.
just sounds harsh. I know, I understand. Yeah, the reality is yes, you're in pre-foreclosure. I get it. But it just sounds harsh when you say it
Okay.
out loud. You know what I mean?
What would you
You're
say
trying to
instead?
help. Say again.
What would you say instead?
Help you out of this particular situation. I know you've fallen a little bit behind in the payments, and the people are calling you, things get crazy. Um, but make sure that you have more resources to send them. And every state's a little bit different, okay? Um, make sure you have those written down that you can send them, like loan modifications. Perhaps they qualify for that. Have that information available. Um, subject twos. Subject twos where they lease back. That's an
Hmm.
option. Well, not all the time. Depends on the state, what the laws are and whatnot. But subject twos, sub twos are possible
Okay.
solutions.
Okay.
Uh, Basically all they really have available to them is loan mods, sub twos, and let's get it listed and on the market. Now, many banks, once it gets a listing, they will slow down they won't just stop it, but they'll tell the attorney to slow down the process, back off. We got a listing, we're going to try to get it listed and sold. We'll get paid everything. Okay, or if they're starting to get it upside down with all the fees and they throw it up, they throw the whole kitchen sink at them through the process. Attorney's fees, you name it, whatever, late fees, attorney fees, you name it. If they're upside down or close to being upside down where you don't get paid, then short sale.
Okay.
Okay, now, are you a short sale expert?
No, not at all.
Okay, we were talking about this, I think before you got on, maybe you heard part of it, I don't know. In EXP, there are people this is what they do, and for a cut of the pie, unless you just want to learn for pre or short sales and learn how to do them, all right, for 20%, 15%, whatever they charge. There are people in EXP that will do this. There's somebody out in Arizona that I know that does it. I want to say between $400 and $600 a file. I could be wrong. Inflation, I don't know. But in any event, they'll basically do the short sale for you. You just have to take care of gathering the data, the information, etc. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna look for one. I'll go in the workplace and type in short sale New York City and see what pops up, who pops up.
Yeah. Yeah. There's people out there to do it. And to do a short sale, you're the agent, you're licensed, all right. anybody behind the scenes can work the file. They can be in any state. They don't even have to be licensed. They just have to know how to do it.
Okay,
You see what I mean?
okay,
Because they're going to put it together and you're going to be the one to submit it, basically.
okay.
But that's, you know, I don't want to know how to do short sales. No, no, that's not me. But some people love them, you know. But there are a lot of resources available within EXP for all kinds of stuff. And if you get one, and here's what's going to happen. All right, so you understand how this works. When you reach out to people and you actually get a hold of them and talk to them, there's what is it, the 4 or 5 stages of grief, you know, this and this and this and this or whatever. The bottom line is when the Liz Pens gets filed, all right, they get a notice, obviously. All right. And reality hasn't really sunk in yet. Oh, we're going to get it caught up. We're only 2 months behind, 3 months behind. You know, great Aunt Uncle Jim's going to give me a short-term loan or whatever. Whatever's going on in their head, reality hasn't set in yet. Okay. And maybe a loan modification is available to them. Who knows? Okay. It's going to depend on the bank and that sort of thing. But as you get further and further down the road from the Liz Pendens, reality at some point is going to kick in. Now, here's what's going to happen. They're going to get the notice. They're going to get the judgment. All right. The judgment will come. Okay. It'll go to court. They won't show up. 99 times out of 100, they don't show up. All right. So they'll get the judgment against them. And boom, the next, either that day or the next day, sheriff's sale date is set. And typically, depending on the state, it's 30 to 45 days. All right. So that's your window that this is the way it really works. Okay. I do this all the time. All right. Reality hits when the sheriff's sale of your house is going to a public auction on May the 15th. Guess what? And you're going to be getting the hell out. All right. So that's reality. So then you need to be ready for that call, or you make the call. Okay. And you've got a limited window to get that house sold. All right. So then it's going to boil down to a cash offer. Okay. You have express offers available to you. All right. And that's a good tool. All right. But if you get somebody like that, you get with me ASAP. I will find you the rental people in that area that own rentals. Okay. And I will find you the fixers and flippers in your area, but still submit it through express offers. You want to use every tool in your arsenal to try to get a really good offer for that person. Okay. And they can close quick. These people can usually close quick. Okay. You give me the address and I can find the fixers and flippers in the immediate area within a quarter to a half mile, and the people who own long-term rentals. Just pull them right out, give you the spreadsheet. You can skip them and give them a call.
Okay.
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 How you doing, Lynn?
Good. I'm back, sorry.
All right. Where are we at? I wish we had more people on here. I hate to keep. Oh, Tabitha, she's coming back. She must have got her crazy internet fixed. There she is. You got your crazy ass internet under control?
Yes, I don't know what it is. Don't even get me started. The center. I'm tired of living in the sticks, y'all. I don't have any good internet here.
All right. All right. You're the only one. You received a call. I want you to make a call.
Okay.
All right. Carolyn's back. You got a few minutes to do the call? I love Carolyn. She comes up with some shit. It's crazy. All right. So what do you have? You got
can Can we do, the tired landlords or owners or whatever it is? Cause
Gosh.
that's what I have the most of. I
Carolyn is a landlord. She'll be perfect.
Okay, perfect. So before we get started, let me ask a couple questions. I have left them a couple voicemails and I have actually written letters to vacant properties, like the
Okay.
owners that are on public records, just like, hey, I've got an interested buyer. Like, what do you think? And that led into a few phone calls and into like 2 or 3 off-market sales. But when you're calling them, I mean, what do I do? Like, is it the same as a letter? Hey, saw you have this property, it's sitting empty. Like, are you interested in selling? I think I have a buyer, because that's what I did in the letters and it worked.
Okay. If you actually get somebody on the phone,
Yeah, not a voicemail.
okay. Okay, but I'm just saying, if you get somebody on the phone, it's going to be very similar. You're just going to change it slightly. All right. You're calling, hey, Mr. Smith. This is Tabitha with EXP. I know you're probably getting 2 to 10 phone calls a week. I'm not trying to be one of those people. I truly am not. But I noticed you have a property located at 123 Main Street, and I have a potential buyer for that. They're interested in that area at that particular property. And I was just hoping I might have a conversation with you about it. Okay.
Okay.
And then see what they, stop. You don't want to be too long.
Yeah.
Stop and see what they say. All right.
Okay. And then just kind of follow it from there.
Okay. But they're a landlord. All right. Odds are they own more than one.
Okay.
Odds are, typically. All right. So if they say, no, 123 Main Street, it's a good moneymaker, I don't want to get rid of it, blah, 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 blah. Then before you hang up, you say, man, I really appreciate your time, at least talking to me. By chance, do you have any others that need a little love or a little fix up or anything like that you might be willing to part with? They're a landlord. They own multiple properties, most of them. Okay.
Okay. So
Before
just
you
kind of
hang up
take
that
that
phone,
opportunity. Okay.
because you're calling about 123 Main Street. That's why you're calling. All right. But they may you'd be surprised, the number of landlords that they want to get rid of. And then you may pick up a tired landlord that has 8 properties.
Yeah.
What's his name? Johnny, over in Ohio, about, I don't know, 6 months ago. He found somebody who had 8. Okay. That he wanted to get rid of. He wanted to get rid of it all.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
So,
let's give this a whirl.
okay.
Okay.
Shut up and
Hey,
get ready.
hey, is this Carolyn?
My phone didn't ring. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Oh, I was like, okay. Okay. Let's try this again. Ring,
Okay.
ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Miss Carolyn Kinley?
It is, but it's kindly.
Kindly. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. My name is Tabitha Huber, and I am a local realtor here in Mobile. I was looking for the property owner of 123 Main Street, and I had some information that you might be that owner.
123 Main Street, huh? In Mobile?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is one of my properties.
Okay, I am curious if you are still interested in keeping that property. I see it's been sitting empty for a little while.
Oh, how do you know it's empty?
I'm a local realtor and I happen to drive by that property quite often.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get it rectified. I'm not sure what to do with it. It needs some work. The tenants moved out, so that's all good.
Okay. Well, I actually think we might be able to help each other in this situation. I have a couple buyers that are looking specifically in that area, which is very near to me.
What are they looking for exactly?
We are looking for a single family residence, particularly a 3-2 with a fenced in backyard. And your home from the outside, I can't tell how many bedrooms, but it does have the fenced in yard. It is in the location. So I was kind of seeing if you wanted to maybe offload it, if you had a price point in mind, maybe we could work something out.
Huh. And who are you again? Where are you
My
from?
name is Tabitha Huber. I'm a realtor with EXP Realty in Mobile.
Huh. All right, I don't think we've met. You know, I've got realtors calling me all the time. What makes you different?
I bet
Why-
you do.
Why you?
Well, I actually have quite a bit of experience in the area, and I have experience with a lot of off-market sales, particularly. I work
How
with
does that help me?
well, your property is currently not listed, but if it were, we might be able to sell that property for you instead of letting it sit empty.
Well, I'm not really sure what I want to do with it yet.
Okay, well, is there a time or another day that maybe we could meet up at the property and have a conversation to see what you want to do with it?
No, because I need to make that decision on my own. You can't really help me make that decision.
Okay, well, is there a better time or a time frame that I could call you back or email you my information?
Yeah, I want to see who you are and what your background is and how long have you been in real estate?
I've been in real estate since 2022.
So 3 years.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a newbie.
You-ish, yes. I
Ish,
think that,
okay.
I think that
suppose
depends on the
years-
volume.
How much have you sold?
This year,
No, and yeah, okay, this year and in general.
so far, the first quarter's been a little slow, but I'm around 500,000.
What, GCI,
Yes,
GTI?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. GCI.
Gross commission income, you've made $500,000?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many houses does that equate to at our price point?
I want to say we are at 17. These are made up
Nice.
numbers, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I said these are made up numbers, by the way. Side
Don't
note.
say, man.
No, I was looking at my vision board because that has the numbers that I need to get there.
Okay, got it, got it.
Yeah.
Well, you can send me information on you. I mean, it sounds like it, although you've only been in business for 3 years, at least you've done a lot of properties. I'm still just not sure. And I
Okay.
don't know I know how it works. I've been around this rodeo for a while.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
just not sure
ma'am.
what to do with it yet, but you can certainly try to give me a call back, put me on your list, but send me some information.
Okay, what is a good email address? And I will send you some comps. That way, when you do
No,
decide.
I don't want any comps.
Okay,
I don't want any comps.
okay.
No, just text me your information and maybe a link to your website and we'll take it from there.
Yes, ma'am, I can do that. And I will follow up with you. How does about 3 weeks from today sound?
Yeah, give me a month or two.
Okay, I will talk to you then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. 500,000 GCI in your first quarter, girl.
That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm aiming for the year, this year in my third
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Okay, can I ask a
Yeah.
question?
Mm.
Me being brand new and haven't had that, like haven't, I don't have any, background as far as what, how many clients have you had? How many deals have you closed? What would be my answer to something like that?
I have the best answer.
Oh, well,
Okay,
go
ready.
ahead.
Best answer. I have a real estate coach that I'm actually in his downline, Ricky Caruth. He's with EXP2, pretty close to me. And I asked him the same thing when I first started, and he told me to tell them this. I have not done that much compared to some of these big name realtors, but I will spend all of my workday working on your deal. Can they tell you that same thing? The
Okay.
answer is no. No, they can't. They
That's a
cannot
good
at
answer.
all. But
That's a
you
That is.
good
can.
answer.
Yep. And I'm telling you, it worked like a charm every single time. It works. And they do not ask you that as much as you think. I freaked out about it at first, and I never even had that question until I was like a year in. But I still freaked out about it every single time. Like, what do you say?
What about adding to that? Because yeah, that's great. What about adding to that? I work with a group of people that have been in this business for a long time. And even
That's
if it's just us, Crystal, even if it's
Yeah.
just us that you have to go back to and ask questions,
the
that's a
the
1-2
other
punch right there.
Okay.
Yep, and
Okay.
Does
and
that
the
make sense, Crystal?
training.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
If you tell them that your brokerage has a team that you can count on, that your brokerage has a broker that they can count on, that there is no way they can ask you anything that you can't get an answer for. And that helps.
Okay.
I think both those together are great.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was going to say I'm gonna use the combination. Yes.
One of the things that I would have said during that part of that conversation was when you were talking about, oh, forget exactly the certain, sorry. Basically what I'm saying is I would have mentioned that when you asked about what are you going to, how are you going to sell it, whatever. Basically you have a plethora, a whole big list of cash buyers. All right.
Okay.
Now, for a landlord, they know what that means. Okay, they're not going to get full boat. All right, but if you bring cash buyers to the table, you have a whole bunch. Some that are fixer and flippers, they want to pay less. You have people who buy and hold; they'll pay usually a little bit more. They're a landlord; they understand, they get it. Okay, but you can save on commission because if you list it, all right, there's a potential buyer agent, including yourself, that's going to get more. But if you bring a cash buyer, the commission is going to be less. So you can kind of massage that into the conversation, however you want to word it. But at the same time, you've got people who are truly interested in the property.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, she's not ready to sell yet. It's vacant. It's eating money. You know, it's costing money. And if it was a rental, I don't know if you said it was a rental or not.
Yeah, she said it was, and
okay.
the tenants moved out.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, it's not up to top speed. Okay. It's not, it might be move in ready, but it needs work. All right.
Okay.
Some updating, some fixing here and there. We don't know what the landlord did or no, or did not do.
Okay.
And you're not gonna, you know, you might ask them if, you know, has it been kept up? You know, when the tenants moved out, have you fixed it up yet? You know, cleaned the carpet?
Let me ask you this while I'm thinking about it. How do you handle the circumstances when your tired landlord is not local?
They're out of state. Well,
Yeah.
they have somebody handling that property for them. All right. Somebody has to rent it. All right. They have somebody. It might
Okay.
be their cousin, whoever.
Property manager or someone. Okay.
Somebody has to rent that property. They're not, you know, somebody got to let them in, see the property, then, you know, sign the documents, this, that, and the other. Somebody has to handle it. All right. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
My mind's racing like 900 miles an hour. Now I just want to pull out my list and be like, all right, let's start here.
All right. All right. It's, oh Lord, time got away from me. I've got a hard stop at 2:30. Who wants to do some live dials? Don't everybody raise your hand at once. Well, you just said you want to break out your list. Let's go. Break it out.
That's what I'm doing. I got to
All
get
right.
my other computer up so I can pull up KV Core. So when you do the live dials, how do you do it? Are we all dialing at the same time?
Well, we're going to do that next week. We're
Okay.
all going to start dialing. Okay.
Okay.
And then what we'll do in that particular situation is we'll all mute. We'll all start, and myself included. I've got a list. I'm going to start dialing too. And if I get somebody on the line, then I'm going to unmute.
Okay.
Okay. That way, everybody else, once they finish whatever they're doing, they can listen to it. Or anybody, for whoever gets something, anybody. Okay. Just unmute. And then we
Okay.
can all listen to how you're doing. And then that way I'm hoping that surely between all of us calling, that somebody will get a live person on. Okay.
Okay. Now for these, oh God, I just lost it that fast. Somebody asked something earlier. I think it was Megan. I got to get back to it. Sorry, ADD.
Ooh, a squirrel.
Yes. God bless.
Ask
hate
that. I have that all the time.
It's so
We all
terrible.
do.
Okay, give me a second. I'll think of it.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was.
So Megan, how's everything going with you?
It's good. I mean, it will be good. I have faith that it will be good once KV4
Oh,
gets
good.
straightened
I
out.
like that.
Right, because like I said, I thought I was straight a week ago, and then I came to realize that not all the campaigns loaded, and then back and forth with this specialist, and they said, oh, well, it's going to happen in 24 hours, and then 3 days later, they're still not there. Anyway,
So
I
much.
finally, all the campaigns are now loaded, but in the meantime, I had skip traced all of the lists. I had gotten it all organized, and I am the spreadsheet person. I can organize anything, but but so I sent them my spreadsheets and said, okay, I want this to populate this campaign and this one to populate my do not call campaign. Well, I got, yesterday I'm looking at it, I'm like, nothing's populated. Okay. So I went back anyway. I just finally sent another email and the guy's looking at it for me because I'm getting
Well,
conflicting information.
It's
Because one specialist said this should populate, and once you do this, it'll show up in 24 hours. It didn't. And the other guy's like, well, it might not. I'm like, okay, well, you guys help me out.
And it's so important to have that done too, because as you
Right.
get more leads and start pumping them in there, you're gonna, I know, I'm sure Todd talked about this, you're gonna get up to a certain point and KV Core is gonna take over. And then
Right.
it's just things will come out of the blue. So good. Yeah, it's really important to get that squared away.
Right. And so I'm just like, I wanted to start calling, but I'm like, I don't want to set this in motion if I don't have my this all set up yet. So
You're
I
looking
did,
at the big picture. Yeah.
well, I'm trying to. So anyway, I made some calls, but again, it's chicken scratch. Okay, what happened? And I have to go back and go back to KV4 and fill that in later. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll get resolved in the next day, but we'll see.
Yeah. We're in it for the long haul. We'd love to have it happen right away, but
Right.
obviously the more it builds, the more it's gonna keep going.
Yeah. And it's a steep learning curve because, I'm new to KV4. So I'm just like, okay, did I click this here? And, so a couple things that they help me with, they're like, oh, you have to turn this on. And I'm like, oh, all right, that was simple. But, once I get rolling, I know that I'll be fine. But it's just a matter of, okay, I got to get over this hump first. But
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. And Crystal, how about you? I didn't get a chance to check in with anybody. I apologize. I'm asking now.
I have not had to did the KV Core thing yet. I'm going to have to call support and because
Yeah.
I'm not technical, I'm gonna literally have to call support and let them walk me through the process on the phone.
Or they will do it for you,
Oh, okay, perfect.
Ask them, how do I get it to you? And they will do it for you. And honestly, if you really understand KV Core, great. If not, let them do it. They know what they're doing. It takes them 5 minutes, and that's what the support is there for. So if you want to call them and say, hey, how can you help me get this in here? They'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Perfect. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Good. All right, Todd, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
I remember now. Todd, can you show me again those cards that you said that you take when you go door knocking? You said you
Yeah.
get them on Amazon or
Yeah,
something.
just get them off Amazon. They're just little, what, 4x6? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
these I don't use anymore. This is for, I type this out in advance and then I sign it. Okay.
Okay.
But I don't use it anymore. I think handwritten is the best. I handwrite them in advance, and then I'll at the end, or at the top, I'll write their name. Because I know who they are. These are on my DNC list. I'll write Mr. Smith, and then sign it at the bottom, Todd. And I think handwritten is best.
Okay.
Looks
Now,
more authentic.
what kind of script do you use for door knocking these properties? Like, is it pretty much the same thing that you do
Yeah.
when you're calling them?
But you're talking to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious about, what you're going to do in this situation, blah, blah, the same thing, just you're face to face, so it's a little more calm, very nice. You know, they may get a little hostile, they tell you to go away. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious. I did door knocking a few times for like open houses, circle prospecting kind of thing. So I was just curious. That'd probably be a good way to get the ones that are on the DNC instead of postcards. I like postcards, but I don't know that they wouldn't just like trash it.
Well,
So what does the handwritten note say? Like how, like, do you keep it simple or like,
yeah,
how do you, what do you say?
they're very simple. You know, hey, this is Todd. Stopped by your house. Depends on what it is, obviously. Mine are pre-foreclosure. I noticed there's might be some difficulty. I don't say anything about finances or anything like that. Okay. Just there might be some difficulty and I might be able to help. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Here's my number. Blah, 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 blah. Post it. I always carry tape with me, tape it to the door, whatever. All right. Now, in the future, it depends on the home. All right. Okay, you're in New York City, you're in Mobile. Megan, I forget where you're at.
I'm in Oregon, Salem, Oregon.
Okay, Oregon, a little bit different out there. No, every place is slightly different. You can go to Vistaprint, all right? And I'm now ordering up magnets. And if you buy in volume, bulk, okay, you can still say what you want to say and then slap it on the mailbox. Most mailboxes are metal. If not, find a metal place on the house, right by the front door, slap it on there. All right.
What do you put on the magnet?
My name, my number, and basically, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with you about your house, something like
Or you
pre-foreclosure.
can use that magnet to attach a handwritten postcard or whatever.
You can, my business card or whatever, I could do that. But I like that magnet is cool. That magnet is cool.
Todd, my only question about that is I don't know what the legality is of putting something on a mailbox, just because I've heard people complain about flyers that are deposited in a mailbox that did not go through the postal
can't do
service. Is
that.
there any legality about that?
I can actually answer.
No, you cannot put anything in a mailbox
Right.
unless you
Or-
mail.
You're
Right.
actually not supposed to put anything on a mailbox either. Like
Okay.
I used to hang, they're like the little door knockers that go on a doorknob. I used to hang it on the flag. I was selling Avon back then.
Okay.
And I got a $2,500 ticket for the mailboxes on a street.
Wow.
There you go. Won't be doing that again.
$2,500. Yeah.
Okay.
And I went, talked to them, they told me it can't be on the mailbox, cannot be in the mailbox. You literally cannot touch the mailbox. You can, however, put it next to the mailbox. Like if it's up on a pole, you can put whatever you want to leaned up against it, but you can't touch the mailbox itself. Do not get fined. It
I'm
was
glad I asked.
Can you
Yeah.
put it on the pole?
Which isn't gonna be metal half the time. It
right.
might or it
Very-
might not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then use the card and use a thumbtack.
Yeah. Just don't put it in the mailbox. Goodness.
No, not in it.
Everybody cares. Yeah, not everybody cares, but I'm telling you, there is always going to be somebody who is having a bad day and is going to call.
I've never had anybody
Thank
call
you.
about me, but
Thank you so much for that
putting a
information.
magnet on the front of the mailbox when they open it. I've never had that, ever. That's news.
I've gotten tickets. I've
Just my luck,
gotten
y'all.
tickets, and not tickets, but I've gotten stuff from the mail carriers.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do this. This is against the blah, 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 blah. It's a federal law, blah. All right. So
Right.
don't mess with it.
See, you must live in a nicer area, Todd. I don't know.
Well, are you kidding me? Some of the areas I go into, I go packing.
You just don't know the laws
I am
there, but-
armed.
Armed and dangerous.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's interesting sometimes. All right. Are you gonna make the call? I want
Um,
to make this call. I
I-
want you to make this call, live call, before we get off to finish up.
okay, hold on. This did not give me what it is.
And I have Tabitha, I have Crystal. We have two crystals and it confuses us.
It confuses me too, because I'm like, did I say that? I'm like, oh no, I didn't say that.
When you load them into when you load them into KB Core, it doesn't give me like which list it came off of.
Oh crap, you didn't tag them going in?
I thought I did, but I don't see the hashtag that I added.
Oh no.
Oh man, that means I'm gonna have to go through and
What do you have? You got tired landlords and what?
some of them are the tired landlords, then I had some vacant, and then I had some probate. So give me just a
Well,
second.
tired landlords are vacant are gonna be basically the same thing. But
Yeah,
you need to go back in and I don't know how many probates you had, but I would individually tag each one of those probates.
yeah, the probates I think I only had like 7. I just can't remember which ones I put in first. Let me find the
They'll be
first.
on the sheet, but anyway. Just don't call one of those, unless that's what you want to call.
Right. That'd be my luck. I'd call the wrong thing. All right, let's. Might be on that other. So I had this guy. I am pretty sure this is a tired landlord. It's voicemail.
Leave the message.
Maybe there is a voicemail. This one's still ringing. I'm gonna try a different one. Now, when we do this, you said, what do we do if there's no voicemail, no contact, no nothing? Where do we put them?
Is the number active?
It's ringing. It's just a landline and it just keeps ringing.
Are you sure it's a landline?
I'm almost positive. I don't believe that exchange is used for cell phones.
Why don't you try to text it? You know, your message.
Okay.
Hey, I just tried to call you. I was, however you want to word it, reaching out about the property that, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
As a side note, how many of you all get these weird texts saying hello or hi or hey, and there'll be some name. Are you what are you doing this weekend? I get this crap all the time. All the time.
I had a weird one just like an hour ago. Hi, this is Ella. I had your number stored in my phone, but
Yep.
I don't know who. Can you give me your
Yep.
name?
Yep, I get those
And I
all.
was like, I don't know an Ella, and I don't have you stored, so no. No,
Report
you
junk
can't.
and move on, yeah.
Yeah, like no. So you said for the voicemails and the text to say the address and that you think they have a personal interest in it. Is that how
Well,
you said it?
landlord,
Okay.
yeah, hey,
Okay.
you're not, hey, this is Tabitha, I'm local real estate agent. I was reaching out on behalf, or I was reaching out because I believe you own a property located at one, I don't write it all out, 123 Main Street.
Okay.
I'm sure, now this is a tired landlord or vacant, most likely landlord. I'm sure you get the calls like this all the time. I just wanted a few minutes of your time because I have somebody who is interested in properties in your area, and, you know, I just want to
Okay.
have a conversation with you about it, something like that.
Okay.
Word it the way, you do you, but something along those lines.
Okay. So I have hi, Mr. Clement. This is Tabitha Huber, a local realtor with eXp Realty. I just tried calling you. I wanted to see if you had time for a quick chat about a property I think you own on Grand Forest Drive.
Okay.
Please call me if you have time.
Yeah.
Grand Forest. Okay. That's what I sent, and we'll see.
Let's see if you get a delivery fare. Because that usually comes pretty quick for the landline. Yep.
How
That's
will I know?
your phone my phone sends back, I don't know, it's a 151 message of landline.
Okay. Okay.
I
I
don't know
don't know.
about your
I
phone. I
don't
don't know
know
what.
what mine does. Yeah. I have a new phone now. I've only had it a few months, so I don't know what it does. It does things all by itself. I didn't
All
get
right.
an error, so I guess it'll do
Does it show
something.
delivered?
Not yet.
Okay.
So, okay. One of you ladies, it's y'all's turn. Tag.
Well, we're
No, we're down to
Oh,
the
it's
last
already
5
late. Yeah,
minutes.
I see.
I've got a hard stop because I've got to go to Illinois.
All right, let's get some numbers here. So, Megan, we were talking about this. Are you ready to go? Or almost ready to go?
I'm hoping I'll be ready to go by tomorrow at the latest. So
Okay.
my list is, I think it's 32 that I've skipped traced and that are actually not on the do not call list. So let's go with 32.
Only 32?
Only 32. I have a big long list of DNCs.
I did too.
All right. How about you, Crystal?
I don't know my number yet, but I will tell you the number tomorrow.
Okay, just text it to me or just put
Okay.
it in the chat, okay? And
Okay.
I'll add the sheet. And how about you, Tabitha?
I think it was like 71 on the vacant and tired landlords, and then I had like 7 probates.
So what's your number?
A
This
call
is just
for
how many you're gonna call. What are
over the
you
next week.
promising yourself you're gonna
Oh,
call
over the next I'm gonna call all of them.
All right, so 79.
Yeah, I spend like 2 or 3 hours a day calling, so those will
Okay.
be called.
Okay, all right, awesome. And then we'll check back in whenever and see how you
Okay.
did. But hey,
Now, how
good
do
luck,
I?
Megan and Crystal. Good luck to you. I know you're just gonna be starting this, which is very cool. So good luck. Are you ready?
Thank you.
Ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, well, you can reach out anytime. I mean, we're
Okay.
here for you. Just
We appreciate it.
no worries.
Yeah, if you have any issues or something comes up that's just kind of weird, and you're like, well, how do I deal with this?
Yeah, and it'll
Let us
happen.
know.
Yeah, we try to get, interesting on the role playing, but stuff will come up. Stuff will come up. So that's great. So I guess we're good. I guess we're good. Yeah, Todd.
Yep. And just remember, you've got the tired landlord list, the vacant list, they're probably won't very similar. Just remember that if you do get a hold of, well, let's say you're texting and they say, no, I'm not interested in selling, blah, 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 blah. Then say, well, I sure do appreciate your response. By chance, do you have anything else that you might, decide that you want to part with? Another property somewhere that needs some love? Or do you know anyone else that might want to sell a property in that area? Keep it to that area that you're talking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here's what happens to me sometimes. When I was doing this stuff, they didn't want to sell their property. Okay. But they had a property in Florida, or they had a property in Texas, they had a property somewhere else. I'd really like to get rid of that property in Timbuktu. All right. Well, let me reach out to my counterpart in that area and get a referral fee.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I think.
All right.
Always
Yeah.
work it. Work it.
Yeah. Now, when we make these calls, what campaign does it go in for the ones like that? You can't leave a voicemail. There was no contact.
Then that right there, you're gonna have to text them. As long as texting can happen. Now, if it's dead, then go back to take that person, move them into the wrong number. Okay, I told you how to create a wrong number. All right.
Yeah.
Create a wrong number, move them into wrong number. It doesn't go anywhere. Okay, it just sits there. So then, when you have a chance, go back, go back to your sheet, and find a second number that's not on the TNC list.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'd clean. I just keep from slowing me down. I move them into the wrong number category and keep moving. All right. I don't waste time. Then once a week or so, I'll go back, clean that list up, try to find another number. Boom.
Okay. Okay.
All right, awesome. We're right at 2:30. Thanks, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend.
Thank
too.
y'all. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Same thing I told everybody before you jump off yesterday. If there's something you see that we can improve on, I'm doing this in a phase. So we went through the KV Core stuff, talking about all that. Then we're talking about this. And then next week, we're going to get into smiling and dialing. Okay. There's a reason I'm doing it this way. Okay. Also, next week, some of you are getting ready to start dialing for the first time, but next week, you're going to get more leads. Okay. They may be
Okay.
different leads. Okay. So,
Okay.
but if we can help, if there's something you say, you see that we can improve or clarify deeply, more deep, whatever we can do to help you, let us know. All right. That's why we're here.
Okay.
So if you have a criticism or you want to critique, just be nice, but tell us. I got broad shoulders. I'm a big boy.
We
I
just got
know.
to get
I'll
Carolyn
cry.
to quit bullying people so it can go on YouTube.
Well, I think about that sometimes when I'm doing the role play. I'm like, oh God, it's gonna come back and get me, isn't it?
But see, that's what it is. That's what you get for being mean to me, Carolyn. Telling me you weren't
Oh,
gonna do it.
on you. I was easy on you, girl. Trust me.
Right.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording.